Okay, how's it going, everybody? I hope you can hear me out here. It's kind of windy. But basically, I just wanted to go over RV update with you guys. Last time I went over this, we were pretty much at a rest area, and since then, the RV pretty much died on me. No coming back from it now. I could literally make this probably a 3-hour video. But instead I'm going to try to compact it down for you and just give you an idea of some of the crap. Matter of fact, I could actually make this a rant video because at the time I should have videoed everything that was going down. Once again, I was stuck on the side of the road for about 8 hours waiting on the tow company to negotiate a price to get and to find somebody that can tow us to the nearest facility. Now, when we broke down this is going to be the third time that we've been towed since the video that I made at a rest area coming back from a national park. Now, the first time they towed it to a place that was roughly 14 miles away. The tow bill was like $1,200, and they towed it to a small little mom and pop RV mobile repair shop. Now, what I tried to explain to them before is you just can't take this RV to anybody. You have to take it to a Freightliner dealer, somebody certified to work on Freightliners, because these guys have no clue. I'm not saying that there's not people out there that are mechanic savvy. I mean, I'm one. I like to consider myself pretty handy with the tools. I've also been ASC certified, but that doesn't make me the best. Okay, it doesn't make me good to do any job out there. But I do like to learn, and I do like to figure things out. I don't like too often that I can't get my hands on it myself. If I was able to get the RV back, like I said, I got schematics, full schematics that I had blown up, huge. And I'm sure if I had the time, and if I was able to get the RV back to me, I would be able to track that down with the help of Freightliner. Like I said, they are very helpful on the 800 number. But getting back to the first tow, the guy couldn't remove the drive shaft, so he had to pop, one of the axles out. Now, he had roughly close to $1 million tow truck. One of the big rigs, he said, cost close to $1 million. But he didn't have a tool to take off the simulator, which is basically, for those of you that don't know what a simulator is, it's basically a hubcap that goes over the rim. Normally it's 2 nuts holding it, pretty basic to take off, and normally it's not torqued on there. Had to call a separate tire guy out there. Cost me another $175 to have him, in 5 minutes of his time, after an hour waiting for him to get there. It cost me $175. Finally, to fast forward after, and it was raining at the time, fast forward to where it got towed at. I had to meet that guy. Obviously, it happened on a Sunday. Had to meet up with him on a Monday. And he actually told the insurance company that he could fix it, because they were bouncing around trying to figure out who could even touch this thing. And I basically went over to the insurance company and said, look, you better make sure, place a phone call, whatever you got to do, and make sure. I'm a firm believer in crossing my T's and dot my I's. I do that. Maybe it's because back in the day I was in the car business also, and I had to keep track of every car that came through there. I had to call every customer that came through there. Plus we had subletted work. Plus we had, insurance jobs. I mean, it's just a lot that you got to take in, and every day the cars just added up towards the end of the week. So even at the house, anything that I do, I try to be one step ahead and have all my bases checked. But that doesn't seem to help sometimes. Let me tell you, I feel like I need to hand feed people. I feel like I need to grab their hand and walk them through the procedure. I've done a lot of leg work. I done a lot of schematic reading, and also I highlighted with different markers the circuit that they think is causing the problem. And Even though I go through all that legwork and I narrow it down and I give them a starting point, anytime that you hear anything with electrical, these people freak out. I don't know where in the world these people are that are technicians, and I used to be one of them. I used to get into that to where I want to find out the problem. I want to be able to fix that situation. The past few people that none of them care less. They're afraid of it. They don't want to work on it. I mean, that to me is just, it blows my mind that, I'm not saying everybody, so I don't want to throw everybody in the same pot, but I will tell you that for the most part, everybody wants the gravy work. They want to just do things the easiest and make as much money on it as possible, instead of thinking about, hey, let me try to fix this for this person or get involved with it. Now, seeing that this guy was so far away from me, I couldn't keep tabs on him. It was his deal, his word against mine. He could have put 7 hours on there, 8 hours on there, and I would never know the difference of how long he was on here, on the job for. But the insurance company verified it with this guy, that he said that he was able to fix it. Well, lo and behold, we get up there. He had it for over 2 weeks. Never called, never made a phone call. And that's another thing too. A simple phone call to a customer would be nice. Now, I will say that I don't like people telling me how to do my job, so I kind of like back out a little bit and say, hey, look, let me trust in you to do the job. Let me trust in you to do the right job. You know, and do it fair, and I back off. Now, keep in mind, it's been over 2.5 weeks. I didn't call that guy. I gave him all my patience, figuring that he will call me when he finds something, because I do know electrical issues. I've had them before. So I understand it takes a little bit of time, but a simple phone call is if to say, hey, look, we haven't found anything yet. We're still on it. We're narrowing it down. We're getting closer, or we're not getting closer, whatever. Anyway, here to find out, I had to call him. Say, hey, can you give me an update? He was like, man, I can't fix it. Come and pick it up. Here's a bill. So here I give him money for whatever reason. I don't know what he did or what he looked at, if he looked at it at all. He said he was bouncing on and off of it, so he didn't stay steady on it. When I went all the way up to go get it, which was roughly like 200 or so miles for me to even go get it, he wasn't there. He left the keys by the hot water tank or anything, and or something like that. I don't know. I was so confused at the time. When I got there, another guy was there with his RV, and he said, oh, look, this guy, he already sold this property. He's not even going to be doing it or anything else like that. Now, I'm not going to give you the name of the place or anything like that, because I'm not about just slandering people on YouTube. But I will tell you, it's very, very hard to find an RV dealer anywhere. And I've been doing this for a long time. I'm talking over 15 years. Very hard to find anybody that can get you in and out at a decent time. They all keep your RV for however long, and that I've dealt with. With this coach especially, it's difficult because of the service situation. There's only a few people that can service these, and I'm not used to that. It's very hard to find. You can't just send it to a mom and pop place. I'm not saying that these simple garages can't do it. There's probably smart people out there that can figure that out and have the tools to do it. No problem. I know a couple myself in a different area that, from where I'm at, that can do that and would take the challenge on. To fast forward, I went ahead and figured I'd take the risk. So I called my insurance company and said, look, I'm going to try to drive this thing back as far as I can, closer to my house, because there is a Freightliner dealer that I can take it to, since you guys will not tow it there. We'll tow it there, but it's going to be overages. Now, it's not cheap to tow this. Like I said, that one guy wanted $250 an hour. The tow bill roughly came out to, I think, towards the end there, it was closer to $1,400. And he had like 6 hours or so, plus he added fees or whatever. But the good thing, I didn't have to out of pocket that. Anyway, I ended up breaking down again on the way back home. This time I was on the road for 6.5 hours before a tow guy came, and when he came, just another situation, you know. I was keeping an eye on him. I don't like to be over anybody's shoulders, but I was kind of trying to protect him from the traffic because nobody, I'm not going to say nobody, but most people don't have the common sense to get over, and even when there's no traffic. Now there was very, very little traffic, but those cars that were flying by us were staying right in the slow lane where we were pulled over at. And that's the side he needed to take the axle off again. By the way, it was leaking after that, which the axle was leaking, the axle seal, and I kind of anticipated that because I don't know how long it's been on there. So when he took the axle off, I was kind of anticipating something like that would happen, and I would probably have to replace that axle seal. Anyway, to the second guy, he's banging on this axle with a hammer. Now you may ask, why didn't you just pull the drive shaft? None of them said they had the tools to pull the drive shaft. That's normally what you do, is you pull the drive shaft on these. Nope, not these two guys. They went ahead and pulled the same axle. When he did that, he was cracking it with a hammer, and I seen out of the corner of my eye, he went ahead and cracked the threads that are, excuse that bug on there. He cracked the threads, and I knew when he did that, he wasn't going to be able to put them nuts back on. So after we did the run around, and sloppy guy, you know, as always, he, you know, greased from one end to the other of my coach, you know, don't care type attitude. Gets it to, guess where they want to tow it? I can't really say the name. I'm going to make up a name because it's just as funny. Yeah, Billy Bob's or something of Auto Care. And I'm like, okay, and you're thinking that they're going to do what to this Freightliner chassis? They're going to be able to do something with it? And they said, yeah, they said they'll go ahead and be able to fix it. I said, okay. So I ended up calling the place. Once again, it was on a weekend when I went to pick it up. I ended up calling the place. Hold on. I ended up calling the place, and it happens to be more of a tire center than anything. So after screaming at the insurance company about, you know, after I just got off, like I said, before I went up there and got it the first time, I crossed my T's and dotted my I's and called my agent, and she said I have unlimited towing, and they have to tow it to a place that can fix it, regardless of what the mileage is. Well, when I broke down, that was a totally different story. It's like, you have to basically record everybody you talk to because you can't take it for face value. It was nothing but a hassle, and the only one that gets punished for it is the person sitting on the side of the road that is waiting 6 hours, 13 hours, whatever it takes, and then, you know, have to deal with that, the tow truck guys on top of that. Now, what bothers me about that is that they pick where they want to tow it at, instead of just taking it to a place right out of the gate. You're talking over $3,000 in tow fees on this coach so far, and it's eventually going to get back to me. You know what I mean? Because I'm going to keep having it towed until it gets to the right place, because this puts me into the next situation. The second place it was towed, Billy Bob's, whatever you want to call it, Otto, he had it for a week, and I just called today and said, hey, after a week, I figured I gave him patience enough. Another guy don't keep you up to date or give you a simple phone call. You know, that I meant, I work hard and I do a lot of customer service, what I do, and it burns me when I put over and above the effort I need to, obviously, in this day and age, to get good customer service, a phone call. I don't really bust nobody's chops or anything. I give them some space, but it seems like you have to be the pain in the ass customer for them to jump on it and get you out of there, you know, and be done. But I don't know. I will say that I called the guy today. Nope, can't fix it. But I went ahead and repaired your threads that the guy banged on. By the way, when he did drop it off, he goes, won't you, the tow truck driver, the second guy, he goes, won't you just let the axle off, and then that way that guy could put a new seal on it for you. I'm sorry that I'm backing up, but it just came to my mind that I skipped. I said, no, I want it back on. And the reason why I told him I want it back on, because I knew he wasn't going to be able to put all them nuts on. I knew it. And lo and behold, there was 2 of them that he cracked with a sledgehammer and couldn't get the threads on, the nuts on the threads. So between that guy fixing everybody else's crap that they did to it, and me paying these other so-called mechanic technicians that they claim to be for looking at it, for all I know, they looked at it and said, oh, can't fix it, here's another 200 bucks or whatever. But I got a lot of money out, and I'm still no further ahead than I was when I broke down over a month ago. Now, after this guy told me to come pick it up, he can't. Obviously, they don't even got the computer equipment to hook up to this thing. So what makes me believe that they're going to be able to do any diagnosis on it? I wish I would have went ahead and videoed all the conversations I had so I can post them here for you guys to judge for yourself and see what I was going through. It's just amazing to me how much time I got on the phone going back and forth with people. When they left me on the road, one person said I got a maximum 14 miles, another one says 27 miles, and another one says unlimited. It's just ridiculous. Out of the 2 places it was already towed, which they picked, all I received was a bill from them, and the problem's not fixed. It's still screwed up. It's not working, not starting, nothing. So this time I said, listen, you guys are going to go pick it up there, and you're going to bring it back to me, and it's going to the right place this time. And now finally I'm getting some, the agent called me and said, yeah, this lady's going to be calling me and we're going to set it up. But just like everything else, instead of just go ahead and take care of it, my agent said, we're going to go ahead and take care of it. That person's going to tow it. Well, you've seen how that changed, right? In the matter of an hour, the whole plan of action changed. It was supposed to be picked up tonight by cops. It was supposed to be dropped off and in the hands of the Freightliner chassis company, which that all changed. And I'm just sick of people lying. I'm sick of people. You can't take nobody for face value when you're dealing with people anymore. It just gets old. I try to stick to my word, man of my word. When I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And I don't let go very easily. If I have an issue, I'm going to take care of it one way or another. But of course, when you're dealing with it, just seems like everywhere you go nowadays, that's the crap you got to run into. All right. So here's the deal. We still don't know what the problem is with the RV. I know it's going to cost me probably a good amount to get this figured out. I don't know whether if I'm going to end up keeping this unit or getting it fixed and say, hey, cut my losses and go back into a gas RV. Speaking of that, in the near future, when I get a second, I'm going to go over pros and cons, diesel versus gas RV. And I've seen a few of them on YouTube, and they give you some really good information. So you could take what they say and add to what I say. I'm going to probably repeat some of what they said because honestly, they're right about it. I've had some, there's definitely pros of having a diesel, definitely. But I will tell you, just to give you a spoiler alert, it's the service is the problem. I haven't tried this diesel place, but I haven't tried the diesel place. I'm sure they got real good service. This is what they do. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. The guy seemed pretty nice, knowledgeable. Obviously, it is a Freightliner place, so they should know. But I will tell you that the problem is finding those areas to get service. You just can't take it anywhere. There's tons of gas areas to take your gas RV. But diesel is another story, on top of being the expense of it. But yeah, there is a lot of positives to it too, and I'm going to go over that with you in the up and coming videos. But let's get through this RV situation first. Let's find out what the deal is on it. Try to get this resolved so I can get back road tripping and showing you places to go and doing what I like to do, which is get out, travel, go to places, and share it with you guys. So we'll see how much crap I got to deal with on this thing. Hopefully, at this point, it's going to get to the correct place. If they're anything like Freightliner 800 number, I'm sure it's going to get fixed, but at what expense? It's probably going to be a lot. But I'm just glad it's going to be in one area, I'm already behind the 8 ball as much money as I put out on the coach from all these hackers that you know, the insurance company wants to save a buck and send it to them, and in reality it just costs them more money, because now they're probably going to go into probably, you know, they're probably going to go into 4 more tows by it's all done. I mean, the $4 grand worth of work on it. So not $4 grand worth of work, I'm sorry, I got sidetracked. A cop came by and wanted to see what was that about. But no, they're already going to be probably pushing into the $4,000 tow range. And hey, whatever it is, it's on them. You know, I pay for towing. They're going to have to tow it until it gets to somewhere, but at what cost to me by the end of all this. So just stay tuned. I'll keep you up to date on the RV, and also stay tuned for that pros and cons of gas versus diesel. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. I'm sure, you know, I've even heard through Freightliner that people buy them new, and you know, when they put the box on it, they normally, you know, run a screw through something and it grounds a wire out. I mean, it can happen to anybody. They say, you know, fix it and you shouldn't have no more issues with it. And I really don't want to get rid of it, but like I said, this is probably the biggest problem I've ever had with an RV ever. And I've had probably 5 RVs, maybe 6, something like that, and I've never had an issue to where it left me on the side of the road. And if it did, it wasn't too long. It was a blown out tire. Simple. And by the way, I change my own tires most of the time, because just time. I don't want to wait for somebody to come out there. This particular RV, I don't have a spare tire on, so obviously I will have to wait. That's another downside of having an RV. I would definitely recommend, if you got an RV, just to have the spare on it. Make sure, I know some of the Bounders, they have spares in the back portion. Some of them, the Class C's, they bolt them underneath. I would definitely, you know, that's just a plus. You know, having that. That way you're not buying it from a third party. I got so many tips on this type of stuff that it's going to save you in the long run. Hopefully you never need it. Odds are you'll have a blowout sometime on the road, and it's just nice to have one there. And then that way, if you can't do it, at least you already have the tire and rim, and you can go ahead and have them change it and you'll be on the road. And they can't overcharge you for a tire because they know you're on the side of the road. Anyway, stay tuned. Anybody got any comments on this situation? Use it and leave it in the comment box. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know what else you want to see once I finally do get on the road. But stay tuned, because this might be interesting. They said by the time my RV gets there, it's going to be a week before they can even look at it. So stay tuned. You'll see RV updates, and hopefully I'll be back on the road next time you see me. All right, guys, take care.